Good day everyone, I'm Naumar Naik and this is lesson 1 of module 2, social system model. So the objectives of this lesson is to discuss basic social system concepts and assumptions. Second, describe social system model. So what is social system first? Social system is the pattern network of relationship constituting a coherent whole that exists between individuals, groups, and institutions. So what is the concept of social system? So for me, the social system, the concept of the social system is it is a group, it is an organization, an institution that has members, it has hierarchy, and also it is distinguished from its environment. So as example is the school. The school is distinguished from the community itself or the municipality. The school is distinguished from its environment. So now let's go to the assumptions. What are the assumptions of social system? So first, social system is an open system. So when we say open system, it is the social system or the school. So in a school setting, the school is affected by its external factors such as politics, state mandates. For example, we are now experiencing pandemic, right? So our school is really affected by the state mandate because the state mandated that there should be no face-to-face classes. There should be online classes only. So the school must follow the state mandate. So it is very clear that the school is affected by its external factors. One thing that affected it also is the environmental forces such as the pandemic, right? So second, social systems consist of interdependent parts, characteristics, activities that contribute to and receive from the whole. So social system is somewhat there is a domino effect. There is a domino effect that is occurring inside the social system. So for example, in a school setting, it is inevitable that there are parental demands, student demands, teachers demands, and it is not only the principal who is affected, who is directly affected by this, but it is all the members of this social system. It is all the members of the school. Diba? If the school demanded for a tuition raise, so the parents are affected, the teachers are affected, the students are affected. That is why it is interdependent parts, characteristics, and activities that contribute to and receive from the whole. So the whole social system is affected. So what is next? So social systems are people. So it is understandable that without people, social system would not exist, diba? So the people in a social system has their own roles. They all differ from their roles, their beliefs, but they all serve one purpose. They all serve one goal, right? So it's like subunits. The subunits are working for the units, and it is like an hierarchy. And next, social systems are goal-oriented. So when we say goal-oriented, it is all about as what I have said kanina. All the members have different duties, have different roles, but they all serve one purpose, diba? They do that for one goal. They do different tasks, but the goal is one. So they are goal-oriented. The social system is goal-oriented. So next is social systems are structural. So social systems have division of labor, specialization, and hierarchy. So as what I have said kanina, the social system, for example, nana sila yung mga specialization and hierarchy. So as what I have said kanina, the social system, for example, nana sila yung mga structuring. So there's the principal, there's the school president, there's the accounting office, there's the cashier, there's the guidance counselor, there's the prefect. So they all serve different roles, but their one goal is to educate people, to produce educated students from the school, diba? So it is goal-oriented, or it is so structural, diba? Hierarchy. Social systems are normative. So morning next na assumption, social systems are normative. So when we say normative, from the root word norm, it is like the rules of the school, right? So there are formal rules and regulations as well as informal norms that prescribe appropriate behavior. So the example of a formal norm is to pay your tuition first before you take the examination, before you can take examination. So that's the formal norm. Now, what is the informal norm? It is like the common sense of the member. Na it is from the behavior, it is based on the behavior, dapat mag-behave kang inani. It is informal, it is not needed to be announced or to be given consequences na kanang proper dyan. And next are social systems are sanction bearing. So this is quite connected to the normative. So social systems are sanction bearing. So these sanctions are the consequences if you follow the norms or if you ignore the norms, if you disregard the norms. So one of the sanctions in a school settings is if you don't pay your tuition, you can take your examination, right? So that's the sanction, diba? If you can't bring your ID, to the school, then you can't come in. That's the sanction. If you did something wrong, if you did something which is against the norms, which is against the school norms, then you are going to be counseled by the guidance counselor or the prefect's office, diba? So those are the sanctions. Those are the consequences. Alright, so next is the social systems are political. So schools have power relations that inevitably affect administrator and teacher activities. So na yung mga party list, diba, sa mga school. So it's like politics, no? Na yung mga magdagan as a president, secretary, governor, mayor. So it is political. So next is social system has distinctive cultures. So schools have a dominant set of shared values that influence behavior. So for example, our school here in Korea, so we are in a Catholic school. So our culture is quite Catholic. Yung culture natin, no? You must behave this way. We must do this. We must do that. So those are our cultures. Nakasanayan ng mga Catholic people, di ba? So next is the social system, conceptual and relative. For one purpose, a classroom can be considered a social system, but for other purposes, the school or school system may be viewed as a social system. So the school itself is a social system, right? So but the classroom inside the school is still social system, right? So I hope you understand that. Next is all formal organizations are social systems, but all social systems are not formal organizations. So when we say formal organizations, this is like the municipality. This is like the school. That's a formal. Yung meron talagang formal na mga norms, meron silang gina-follow na rules, right? But an example of an informal organization is family. The family is an informal organization, di ba? There's no such thing as consequences or rules, di ba? Because family is quite nag-base lang mo sa culture of your family kung sa inyong norms, di ba? But sa school it is affected by political. Now let us talk about social system model for schools, right? So the social system model is composed of environment, inputs, and outputs. So the environment is the social system itself, right? The environment has the transformation process, which is those are structural systems, cultural systems, political systems, individual systems, which are all na-discuss na nako kanina. And then there's this input. So what is these inputs? These inputs are environmental constraints, human capital resources, mission and board policy, materials and methods. So these are the external factors. These are the inputs of the external factors that is giving into the social system. These inputs are absorbed by the social systems where that comes from the external factors. So basically the school is affected by the inputs that is being inserted by the politics, environmental constraints, environmental factors, right? So Next, what are these outputs? So these outputs are achievement, job satisfaction, absenteeism, dropout rate, and overall quality. So basically, these outputs are the expected outcomes, right? The expected performance na product sa school, right? If the school is the social system that we are talking about, right? So the output of the schools are educated peoples, right? Educated peoples, educated students. So let's move on to the lesson 2. The lesson 2 is all about the key elements of school as a social system. So the objectives of this lesson is to identify and explain some key elements of the school as a social system. So there are 8 key elements of school as a social system. First is the structure. I will not really elaborate this anymore because it was already explained by the lesson 1 at the lesson 1. So structures. So the school is structural, okay? It is a group with bureaucratic roles defined by sets of expectations, and also it is a formal organization with hierarchy of offices and positions, rules and regulations, and specializations. Next is the individual. So we all know that individuals, or the humans, or the persons, are a key unit in a social system, regardless of their positions, regardless of their roles. They may differ from their roles, but they all serve one purpose. They all serve the social system. They all have the same goal, right? So next is the culture. Represents the unwritten feeling part of the organization and shared values. So when the culture is strong, so is their identification with the group and the influence of the group. So murag mao nang pagkaila sa ilaha sa sa usa ka social system, sa usa ka school such as Corheso. Ang pagkaila sa nila sa to is Catholic, diba? Religious, because this is a Catholic school. That's our culture. Now next is politics. Informal power relations that develop spontaneously. Political dimension spawns the informal power relations that emerge. So next is technical core. So the technical core for the school is the teaching and learning. So nakafocus na siya sa teaching and learning lang. So all other activities are secondary to the basic mission of teaching and learning, right? So next is environment. So everything outside the organization. Social systems are open, hence the boundaries are much ambiguous, and the environment more intrusive. So the environment is the source of energy, or just like the input. The environment can put something inside the social system, right? It is the source of energy of a social system. So next is the outcomes. So these are the products of the school, such as sa school na to is to produce educated students that are capable to do their jobs, their specific fields, their studied fields when they get out of our school, right? So next is the feedback loops. So there are internal and external feedback loops. So the internal is the feedback only inside the society, only inside the social system, only inside the school. But these external feedback loops are the feedbacks outside our environment. It is, for example, we produced a incapable student, an educated student. So this would affect us. This would people outside the social system, outside the school, would feedback about us, right? So that is the internal and external feedback loops.
Good day, everyone. In this lesson, we will talk about the school as a community. In waking up, or some of the question is, why was the school considered as a community? And how can the community help the school? First, we talk about what is community. When we say community, it's all about the group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common. Communities such as norms, religion, values, costume, belief, and our identity. And of that, we call school is part of the community. Also, each members of the local community reflect the beliefs and values. carried to actions, behavior, and attitude of the learners. And there are three multidimensional can define as a community, such as location, structure, and process. First, let's talk about the location. Location is where the influence of the environment and the system of control. The community of every learners can change or control their emotions because the learner can learn on how the society it is. The second is structure. A person's location is the social structure which he or she belongs can underline his perceptions, attitudes, and behaviors. Example, the family, religion, and etc. And last is the process. The process is where the management of people and the development of a shared understanding of belief and values. In this lesson, as a teacher must provide the attention in every student or learners to share the knowledge, skills, and etc. The attitude of one learners in the classroom are affect to everyone. The role of teacher is knowing the background of the learners because the school or classroom are part of the community where understand, love, and care to everyone to feel as one family.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ferentodine D. Asis, BPED 1. So now I am going to discuss all of you what I have report now, Module 2, Lesson 4. So what is? School is a learning community. A community is a group of people who share the common interest in a topic or idea, a particular form of discourse about their phenomena. Tools is a sense of making approaches for building collaborate knowledge and valued activities. So next is a learning communities in a high education. A learning community is a group of people or of students who take or two or more courses together. Students explore how what they learned in one course can help them more fully understand and what they are learning in the other courses. Each learning community enrolls on more than 25 students. Learning communities give you the opportunity to get to know others and students in the faculties. They also can help make the transition to college easier and more enjoyable. Next, the school is a learning communities. When people come together and work towards common goals, a community is formed. In schools, that goals is learning. It seems almost to try to label schools learning communities. Of course, these schools bring groups of diverse people together with the common goals of student learning. Schools reflects the enhanced character of community. Next, a common we're all learners. Learners community works together to facilitate participation by all members of the school community or in the classroom. We are work and inspire one another to create, develop, and share knowledge. Each are assuming the complementing roles of leaders, teachers, and learners to various points in time. It's all in Dewey. John Dewey is often credited with creating the idea of schools and classrooms and understanding what community means in the classroom. For Dewey, communitying is not just a name or a collaboration of individuals or an ideal or harmony in the collaboration. It is a process of people living together and especially learning together. I can give you the 3 LCP, Learning Community Perspective. First, the learning focus represents a brief overview of the learning elements, the context in which will be taught, and students already know. Second, a focus on collaboration. The process of 2 or more people or organizations working together to complete a task or achieve a goal. The last is school learning action set. What is LAC? A school-based professional instructional dialogist, a forum for a team learning among teachers, an alternative means to cascade the model of teachers training, a school-based problem-solving process, a school-based service training. Who are responsible in conducting the LAC? School head and teachers. How? Teachers will be asked to meet the select and upcoming lessons or topic. Prepare the share orally their experience from past months and learning. Bring the students' works or learning materials developed in the past month. That's all, and thank you.